Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, Monday, November 7th, 2022 at 6 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook?
Present.
Commissioner Grant?
Present.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Present.
Vice Chair Nandel?
Present.
Chair Duffel?
Present. At this time, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a second from Ms. Grant. Are we going to have that up on the, there we go. I will go ahead and move on the screen. Ms. Grant, if you would go ahead and second. And we can all place our votes at this time.
Motion passes unanimously.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. At this time, we will either move to approve as submitted or corrected Planning Commission regular meeting minutes for October 10th, 2022. Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Motion by Vice Chair Nandel.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. Make the selections on your screen. And go ahead and vote.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, if I may, real quick, I'm sorry, prior to the voting. I saw that it was a regular meeting. I believe that was a special meeting, if I recall correctly. That was on a Monday. So if the minutes could reflect that, if am I right? I think I'm right.
Yes, thank you. Can we have the city attorney is correct, that was a special meeting. If the motion maker would like to make a correction to their motion to accept the special meeting minutes for October 10th, 2022, that would be the appropriate motion. Mr. Motion Maker?
That was me, I think. Yes, I make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and make the selections on our screen for the motion and the second.
Motion passes unanimously.
Fantastic, thank you very much. At this time, we'll move into the public comments. Pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the Planning Commission should not take action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portion of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. Comments are limited to the first 10 speakers at 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers may not yield their time to others without consent of the chair. All comments are to be directed to the Planning Commission and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the Commission, I apologize, members of the public are expected to maintain a personal, courteous decorum during public comments. Please complete and submit a speaker card, which is blue in the back, and submit it to the city clerk in order to speak. When you approach the podium, you'll speak your name and city of residence for the record. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and close the public comments and move on to the public hearings. First public hearing on the agenda is for Conditional Use Permit number 22-20, a consideration of an amendment to a previously approved project, Conditional Use Permit number 21-23. CEQA Mitigated Negative Declaration was prepared for the project and is now under CEQA Guidelines 15162A. May I have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. The site is located on the north side of San Jacinto Lane, approximately 600 feet east of Little Morongo Road, within the light industrial zone, as shown here. On May 2nd, 2017, the original project, CUP 06-17, was approved by City Council, which included two APNs, 665-030-018 and 019, and consisted of two-story attached buildings with approximately 86,715 square feet. On December 15, 2021, the applicant submitted a CUP 21-23 to amend the original project. On May 10, 2022, the Planning Commission approved CUP 2123 for the development of a two-story cannabis facility with approximately 27,296 square feet. On September 23, 2022, the applicant submitted a new CUP 22-20, which is before you tonight, to amend CUP 2123 to reduce the square footage, height, and other minor changes to the site plan. Oh, did I skip one? The previously approved CUP consisted of a two-story, 27,296 square feet building as shown here. The applicant is now proposing to reduce the building height to 24 feet and go from a two-story to a single-story with only 19,952 square feet, also shown here. The approved elevations consisted of a three-dimensional form and architectural elements in the style of a contemporary architecture with neutral grays and whites as a color scheme. The overall architecture has not changed from the previous approval. It will still incorporate the same contemporary architecture with minor changes. The landscaping will consist of Mexican bird of paradise and blue palo verde along with low-level plantings and a wrought iron fence to visually enhance, protect, and blend the cannabis facility into its surroundings. On May 2nd, 2017, the City Council approved the original project and in doing so adopted the mitigated negative declaration for the project. Pursuant to Section 15162A of the CEQA Regulations, once an M&D has been adopted for the project, no subsequent environmental review needs to be completed unless there are substantial changes in the project that warrant additional review. With that, this is consideration for a conditional use permit number 22-20, an amendment to a previously approved project for the development of a single-story building totaling approximately 19,952 square feet on a 1.26 acre parcel, subject to the conditions of approval and findings for APN 665-030-018. That concludes my report. I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your staff report. This time we'll entertain questions of staff from the Planning Commission. Commissioner Grant.
None at this time, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Grant. Commissioner Cook.
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Vice Chair Nindell.
No questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nindell. Commissioner Wagstaff.
You just said minor changes, just to the architecture, paint, anything relevant?
So the overall building height did reduce to 24 feet, and then they did do minor changes to the site plan. The building was located in the middle of the parcel, and now they're shifting it to the side.
That's all.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I entertain a question
Go ahead,
based on what you
Commissioner
just said. Since they moved the building to the side, now is there more parking spaces? Did they increase that?
So they did not provide more parking.
Any further questions of staff from the commission at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Take testimony from the applicant if the applicant is here. I don't believe the applicant is here, so we'll go ahead and take testimony from either those in favor, opposed, or in a neutral position on the project. Do we have anyone here for this item?
We have none, sir.
Thank you very much. Seeing nothing, there is nothing for the applicant to rebut. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to Planning Commission discussion. Is there any further discussion on this item from the commission? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Okay, we have a motion to approve. Before I second your motion, Commissioner Cook, I want to make sure that I understand your motion fully. Your motion is to adopt the CEQA exemption per regulation 15162A and consider conditional use permit number 22-20 to amend a previously approved project subject to the conditions of approvals and findings?
Correct.
Okay, I will go ahead and second that motion. Wait for it to pop up on the screen here. Go ahead and make your selection, Commissioner Cook, for your motion. I will second, and go ahead and vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item in the agenda, conditional use permit number 22-21, a consideration of an amendment to a previously approved project, conditional use permit number 22-24. This project is exempt under CEQA Regulations 15162A as an MND was already completed. May I have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. The site is located on the north side of San Jacinto Lane, approximately 655 feet east of Little Morongo Road, within the light industrial zone, which is right next door to the previously approved project. A little bit of background. On May 2nd, 2017, the original project was approved by City Council, which included the 2 APNs and consisted of two-story attached buildings with approximately 86,000 square feet. On December 15th, 2021, the applicant submitted CUP 21-24 to amend the original project. On May 10th, 2022, the Planning Commission approved CUP 21-24 for the development of a two-story cannabis building with approximately 27,296 square feet. On September 23rd, 2022, the applicant submitted a new CUP 22-21 to amend CUP 21-24 to reduce the square footage, height, and other minor changes to the overall site plan. The previously approved CUP consisted of a two-story, 27,296 square feet building as shown here. The applicant is now proposing to reduce the building height to 24 feet and go from a two-story to a single-story with only 19,952 square feet as shown here. The approved elevations also consisted of three-dimensional forms with architectural elements and also gray and white color schemes. The overall architecture has not changed from the previous approval. It will still incorporate the same contemporary architecture with minor changes to the building. The landscaping will consist of Washington hybrids and lantanas along with a few different shrubs and also a wrought iron fence for security. On May 2nd, 2017, the City Council approved the original project and in doing so adopted the MND for the project. Pursuant to Section 15162A of the CEQA Regulations, once an MND has been adopted for a project, no subsequent environmental review needs to be completed unless there are substantial changes to the project that warrant additional review. This is for consideration of conditional use permit number 22-21, an amendment to a previously approved project for the development of a single-story building with 19,952 square feet on a 1.26 acre parcel, subject to the conditions of approval and findings for APN 665-030-019. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your staff report. At this time, we'll entertain questions of staff from the Planning Commission. Commissioner Grant?
None at this time, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Grant. Commissioner Cook?
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Vice Chair Nindell?
No questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nindell. Commissioner Wagstaff?
No questions.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Wagstaff. There is currently no questions of staff from the Planning Commission, so we will go ahead and open the public hearing and take testimony from the applicant if the applicant is present. Doesn't appear that the applicant is present, so we'll move on to taking testimony from those either in favor, opposed, or in a neutral position for the project. Is there anyone here to speak on this item?
We have none.
Thank you very much. Since there is no one to speak on this item, there is no reason for a rebuttal. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to Planning Commission discussion. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I would open the floor for a motion.
I will vote to adopt the CEQA exemption per Regulation 15162A and consider conditional use permit number 22-21 to amend a previously approved project subject to the conditions of approval and findings.
We have a motion on the floor. I will second that motion. Go ahead and make your selection on the screen. And please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Wonderful, thank you very much. At this time, we will move on to the public comments, where an opportunity is given to those members of the public who have not yet addressed the Planning Commission on an item which is not on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and city of residence for the record. Is there anyone for public?
We have no public comments.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move on to Chair and Planning Commission member reports. Commissioner Grant, do you have anything to report?
Everyone have a happy holiday that's coming up. That's it.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Grant. Commissioner Cook.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Vice Chair Nindell.
Nothing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nindell. Commissioner Wagstaff.
No, I have nothing.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Wagstaff. I would like to take a moment to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and also to give my utmost gratitude, and I believe I speak on behalf of the entire commission, for every veteran who has served in our armed forces, who we will be recognizing this month with Veterans Day. It is to those men and women who have served that we owe our freedoms to, and for that we are deeply grateful. At this time, we will move on to the Community Development Director report. Mr. Besser.
Hi, good evening, Chair and Planning Commission. So I have a little update for everybody. I wanted to update everyone as far as our building permits number go. I try to just kind of keep an eye on this and see how busy staff is. Sometimes we see staff out and about. We see our inspectors really busy, and these numbers really reflect how busy these individuals really are out there. So far, we have collected and issued an estimated 98 permits totaling a little over $3 million in fees. These fees go to our general fund, as you guys know, and help support a lot of the things that we do here in our community. 2,300 of these were residential permits, various types, 156 commercial. A little over 1,200 residential permits were actually submitted, and 95 were submitted as well. So we have conducted an estimated 7,585 inspections so far. As you guys know, we currently operate with 2 inspectors. We have Richard Min, which is our building official. He was promoted to that. Really happy to have him there. And Scott Habner. We've recently now brought on 1 more inspector. We have Eli as well now. So really happy to kind of start seeing the department grow little by little. For business licenses, again, very impressive. We have Kat runs this department, really helps facilitate a lot of this. She's helped bring in a little over $200,000 in fees, and we have a little over 1,500 licenses applications that were submitted, and a little over 1,300 of those, so a good majority of them were actually issued. So it's actually really good to see. These are new businesses. They could be newer renewals, but these are businesses in our community that are coming and are active. So it's really nice for everybody to kind of see this, because we may not see all these businesses, but they're very active, and they do cause a really amazing impact on our community. So I want to let you guys know, just last month we attended the California Cannabis Control Summit, which empowers local government officials and law enforcement agencies to provide an effective and safe regulatory framework for this growing industry. The event was 2 days and included over 20 different presentations. And it's just great to see the City of Desert Hot Springs get the recognition for being one of the leaders in the cannabis industry. It's pretty apparent amongst all the other cities in the cannabis field that we are and have really set this path to be one of the lead cities to really embrace cannabis and really spearhead it in a way that now other cities are really coming to us and really asking for advice when they're just trying to get going in that same direction. So it was really neat to see that. And not only that, but we actually had two of our policy leaders here, Dora Wilms, our Deputy City Manager. She was a guest speaker in crafting public policy for regulated cannabis, a really well-attended seminar there. And Jennifer Mizrahi, our City Attorney, she was a guest speaker on determining municipal planning and zoning, land use, fire, and building code, as we all know how important that is. So it was really it was really neat to see not only them engage in that, but they really became the central point on different various technical questions. So it kind of just brought out and reiterated how invaluable all this information is to other cities, and so it's nice to see our local leaders participate. We as well attended the MMASC 2022 annual conference. The Municipal Management Association of Southern California holds their annual conference to discuss new practices in local government and attend training sessions to develop managerial and leadership skills. The annual conference focuses primarily on the nuts and bolts of local government management and facilitating opportunities for attendees to connect and build strong connections with local government peers. So as you can see, we this was just some of the group, but we had various staff members go and attend these different seminars. It's really important to see that. We even had them go into talking about the Gen Z generation of the workforce and how that's very different from the current workforce. So it's really neat to just see these conferences really come to us and us be able to take advantage of them. And lastly, we have done a little bit of public outreach. I'm really proud of this part. The Desert Hot Springs Rotary asked us to speak at Brianna Sewell's third grade class at Cabot Yerkes Elementary. So we had several representatives show up and talk about what they do and their positions in our city. And when I first was approached about this to talk up to third grade kids, I really wanted them to understand the basics, but it was just so neat to see how advanced they already were and how much knowledge these kids already have. So we not only talked about these things, but I want to talk about like the couple of the topics. They were even really engaging on environmental impacts and talking about what that looked like as far as development and development processes. We asked one young kid, what it was like to build a house, what he thought the process was, and he immediately started going into, you need to get a building permit, you have to talk to the inspectors. I mean, probably his father was in the industry or his mother was in the industry, so he knew about that, but it was just so neat to hear, and his other colleagues really say, wow, that's cool. It was just a very unique thing for us to be able to be a part of. And so we just want to thank Cabot Yerkes for allowing us to be there, as we talked a little bit about everybody. So that concludes my update. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your Community Development Director report. That was a great report. I want to note something. You said gentleman and immediately corrected yourself to young boy because you were in a third grade classroom. Our children are extremely intelligent, and they're going to be the ones that are taking care of us when we're old and gray and can't do this anymore. So thank you for being out there with our kids. Thank you for being out there teaching our kids and bringing up the next generation. At this time, there is nothing further on the agenda. So it is 6:23 p.m. We will go ahead and adjourn the meeting.